Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 42nd Rome Total War Brotherhood battle that I put onto YouTube. What I thought today, I'd do something a little bit different for any maybe new players to Rome Total War, or maybe someone that doesn't play it but likes watching the game. And that's to show you actually how we actually put our battles from our saved game on Rome Total War onto YouTube. So the first thing we do is click on Load Game. And then we click on to Load Battle Replay, and then you can see I've got names of all my saved battles here. As you see, I haven't got a lot these days. And what we're going to do, we're going to watch Battle Yes here, which was played at 12:30 p.m. on the 28th of December 2013. Let's see what happens. And here's the game actually loading up now. As you can see, the red bar on the bottom of the screen there, as you can see, as it actually fills up, it's actually loading the game up there. And here we are. The team I'm in today consists of myself, a Spartan Commander, who's bought the Rome SBQR faction. Brotherhood member Cal, who has also bought the SBQR faction. Then we have Brotherhood member Crimson Overlord, who has bought the Macedon faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Uther, who has bought the Brit faction. So as you can see, the team is very good, filled with experience and some really great players there. But wait till you see the other team. I think there's going to be some great players in that team too. I think this battle you're really going to enjoy watching. At this stage of the battle, I thought you might like to have a look at Crimson Overlord's Macedon army. As you can see here, he has got 6 units of Cretan archers. Now the Cretan archers have got great range and do a lot of damage, but their defense is not brilliant. But they are still pretty good archers, and Macedon certainly needs good archers to protect their pikemen from enemy archer fire, as they're very susceptible to being killed by archers. And then we have the Macedon Royal Pikemen with their famous long pikes. These guys have got pretty good defense and are pretty good troops. And here we have the Macedon Companion Cavalry with their famous winged helmets. With good upgrades, these cavalry are really tough and should not be underestimated in battle. And here is the other team that we're fighting today. We have Heaven member Biscuits, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. We have Rome Total War player the Real Scorpion King SR. Veterans of Rome Total War will know SR very well. He's been playing Rome right from the beginning of the game and is a very experienced player and well respected too. Then we have a Brotherhood member Gladius, who has bought the Rome Brutii faction. And then we have another Heaven clansman called Coda, who has bought the Germania faction. These as you can see, these people we're fighting, the players we're fighting now, are extremely experienced and very good players. What I thought we'd do is have a look at the enemy archers here that we can count. And as you can see, they've bought loads of archers in anticipation of shooting my Macedon teammates' pikemen down, and also Uther's Britons. As you can see, there are, I think, 12 archers there. And just looking at the Egypt army here, the Egyptian army here, you'll see that these Pharaoh archers, I think, are probably the second best archers in the game, just behind the Gaul Forester archers. These guys have got long range, they do a heck of a lot of damage, and you can use them as infantry once they've run out of arrows. They're such tough archers. So they're a really good unit to have. And then we have the Egyptian pikemen there, and these guys are tough too with good upgrades. And here's something that you don't see very often. Apart from Egypt not being bought much in 31k, you very rarely see light cavalry bought. But if you look at these light cavalry, they're carrying axes, and those axes are effective against armour. And though it says light cavalry, you put these guys up against heavy cavalry, and those effective against armour axes will probably give them a victory. So don't underestimate the desert cavalry of Egypt, because with those effective against armor axes, they are pretty tough. And then of course Egypt have got their chariots here, really good chariots that you can put good upgrades on. And what I like about these chariots is they don't run amok. As you've seen in other battle videos, chariots that run amok are a menace to both friend and foe on the battlefield, but these won't. If they're routed, they just rout and leave the battlefield like any other unit. So that's the Egyptian army, and I think it's pretty tough. Right, at this stage of the battle, because of their archers they've got a lot more archers than us, I'm moving my infantry over to try and take some of the archer fire off of my allies. As said earlier, my Macedon and Britain allies are very susceptible to archer fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm moving my Roman infantry out the front to try and soak up some of the enemy archer fire and take a bit of pressure off my teammates. As you can see, Uther's using his Brit light cavalry here to charge in and try and rout some of the Pharaoh archers there, and I think he's routed a couple of units already, but they've now bought a fast chariot unit out there, and Uther won't want to tangle with a chariot unit there if he can help it, so he's going to pull back. But that was a good move by Uther. He's routed a couple of their units there. At this stage of the battle, I thought you might like to have a look at the Germania army. As you can see, Coda has bought, Heaven Coda has bought some Night Raiders. Now these guys are tough, but also they've got a scare factor, and they actually lower the morale of enemy troops who they're fighting. As you see, he's got quite a few of them. And then we've got the infamous Berserkers. The Berserkers are actually based on true characters from the past. These men were either took a cocktail of drugs or alcohol, or even had some mental issues here, and then when they went into battle they did go berserk and with a bloodlust, and so these guys are actually based on true characters, and in this game they're very tough. And then we've got the German axemen here. They've got excellent morale, and those axes are effective against armor, and then used in mass they can cut away a big way through Roman infantry. And then you've got their great cavalry. The German cavalry, I think, is some of the best in the game and are very underestimated. Germania is a great army, and I think used properly can be really good. At this stage of the battle, as you can see, I've moved my infantry even more forward now to try and soak up some of the enemy archer fire here. And it seems to be working. I seem to be having a lot of archer fire directed at me, and as those of you that play the game will know that as long as the archer fire is coming directly frontwards onto my urban units, it won't cause me a lot of casualties. But all the time I'm doing this, I am managing to stop my allies being hit by archer fire. So even though I look in a very exposed position out the front there, it's doing exactly what I want, and that is attracting the archer fire. So it'll be interesting to see how the game develops from this very forward position. At this stage of the battle, you can see that my teammate Crimson has brought out some Macedon pikemen to help support me. If you notice, he's put them into open order, which means that they are going to suffer less casualties from archer fire. It's a good move by Crimson to come out there. It's just to give me a bit of support on the left flank there, and putting them in open order is just the right thing to do too. At this stage of the battle, you'll see that I'm advancing my infantry even more forward than what I was. And if you notice that I'm starting to look in a very exposed position here, an easy target for the enemy to hit. And to people watching this, you might think this is a strange thing to do, but I have a bit of a plan in mind here. As you see, I've got pike units not far behind me, and what I'm hoping is that the Germania general will see that I'm looking in an exposed position and maybe activate his berserker units. And if he does this, what I would do then, as soon as I see them activated, I should run my infantry back behind the pike units, and hopefully the berserkers would charge directly onto Crimson's pike units and be killed. As you can see now, this berserker units have been activated. I'm running back now as fast as my infantry will run to get behind those pike units before the berserkers hit me. If those berserkers hit my army, they will probably cause mass rout, so this is a real gamble, and it's all about timing. You see the Germanian cavalry were going to charge into the back of me there, but Crimson, moving his pikemen forward, has put off the German cavalry from charging. And as you see now, I've pulled my infantry right behind the pike units now, but because the pike units weren't set when the berserkers hit them, it's caused them to rout. As you can see, Uther's bringing his Brit infantry in now to try and absorb some of the berserker hits onto my infantry. Crimson Overlord will be bringing some more pike units forward soon. Here you can see a close-up of the berserkers smashing urban cohorts up into the air with those effective against armour axes that they carry. And you can see that Germania cavalry are coming around the flank as well. And at the moment my army is right out in the front with Uther's infantry there trying to hold. And I'm just hoping that Crimson's going to bring some pike units forward there to help us support us there, as we need pike units there. As you can see, there's a heck of a lot going on at the centre here. I think this is where the battle's going to be won or lost here at the centre. As you can see, Heaven Biscuits is charging his cavalry in here as well. And what I'm a bit worried about here is that with the berserker unit still killing us and the cavalry and all their infantry charging in, it could cause a mass rout of our army here. It's really touch and go in the centre. Over to our left, can you see the Brutii infantry coming round our flank? There, moving in there. That's another dangerous thing that's happened to us there. I can still see one berserker unit in the centre still alive and killing our troops. And as long as that berserker unit's still going, it's got a massive fear factor that's lowering the morale of our troops as well and could cause mass rout. You can see enemy cavalry going into some of our archer units at the rear there. And there's Uther's general's just been taken out, which is pretty poor for our team there. This could be pretty bad for us there. As you can see, I'm bringing my cavalry in here in an attempt to hit this Brutii infantry unit in the flank. Bang. And over on the right hand side though, there's a lot of action going on. There's Gladius's cavalry fighting Cal's cavalry. You can see that Uther's brought some of his chariots over there to help Cal against Gladius's cavalry there. There's lots of stuff going on all over the battlefield at the moment. It's difficult to be able to keep an eye on everything that's going on. But over on the right here, you can see that Gladius's cavalry and Cal's cavalry are in a real tussle here. And some of Uther's chariots are routing as well. As you can see, Crimson Overlord's companion cavalry are just waiting to charge in there to help Cal's cavalry. Now, if you notice, Crimson's cavalry charging into the rear of Gladius's cavalry there. But I see that Scorpion King's put some of his chariot units and a desert cavalry unit into the rear of the Mastodon cavalry too, so there's a bit of a tussle going on here on the right flank. I think if we can manage to win this battle on the right flank, we'll have cavalry majority here and we'll be able to get behind the enemy, but it's really touch and go. Meanwhile, over in the centre here, you can see there's lots going on. German cavalry charging in. I'm charging my cavalry in there in an attempt to try and rout some of the Brutii infantry. As you see, my cavalry's managed to rout some of the Brutii cavalry. Now I'm going to pull them out because I don't want to get involved with any of my allies' pikemen there, because allies' pikes will kill friendly cavalry as well as enemy pikes will. As you see, I haven't got a lot of cavalry left now, so I'm going to pull them out and go into soft targets, i.e. the enemy archers there. They'll probably be a lot better against the archers than they will against anything else, because there's not a lot of them left. As you can see in the centre here, it's still touch and go on who's winning. And over on the right flank there, I see that Crimson Overlord's companion cavalry now has won the tussle over on the right flank and is managing to smash into the back of Heaven Biscuits infantry there, causing a lot of routing units there. It's a good move by Crimson there. Uther's Brit army has done extremely well in absorbing the impact of enemy hits, and he's done really well with those the Brit troops. As you can see, there's still enemy Brutii infantry attacking us, and there's still a lot of the enemy Scipii Roman units left there as well. So it's still all up in the air at the moment. As you can see, this look at the dead all over the battlefield. That goes to show how many battles were going on all over the place here. As you can see, I'm sending in some of my cavalry, what's left of my cavalry, into the back of these Brutii infantry, hoping to maybe rout some of them. And yes, managed to do that. Bearing in mind that I haven't got a lot of cavalry left, I was pleased that they managed to do that. So now, if you look over to the right flank, you'll see that there's still a lot of enemy Scipii infantry left there. And a lot of those haven't been fighting, so they're going to be fresh infantry, where I think all of our units have been fighting hard. So we're going to have a lot of tired units out there fighting these fresh units. As you can see, Scorpion King has got a couple of his Egypt units in behind us there as well as Gladius has got some Brutii infantry in behind us as well. So not only are we fighting forward here against Scipii infantry, we've got enemy units behind us as well. So things are still looking pretty up in the air at the moment. As you can see, Uther's still got some of his chosen swordsmen. He's charging into the fray here, trying to fight the Gladius's Brutii infantry here. He's even got head hurlers who have thrown all their heads fighting there as well. As you can see here, Cal's still got a lot of infantry left, and we've managed to we've still got some pikemen left as well. As you can see, I'm swinging some infantry units around the left flank here, with a view to get in behind the enemy Scipii infantry there, to try and rout some units. And I've only got a few cavalry units left, but I'm going to charge them into the back of the enemy army there, with a view to try and hopefully rout a unit or two. You see, I managed to rout an Egypt unit that was fighting there. But there's not a lot of my cavalry left, so they probably won't be able to do a lot now. But we're still managing to hold in the centre here, even though there's still a lot of Scipii infantry left. You see that Scipii cavalry unit come into the back of my my infantry there. But as you see, Crimson Overlord's still got a lot of his cavalry left here, which he's using. You see how we charged into those Pharaoh archers. Remember I was telling you how good the Pharaoh archers infantry could be used as infantry when they run out of archers are. Can you see how they're holding that cavalry there really so well? I've just charged in some of my cavalry and we've routed a couple of their units, but there's still Pharaoh archers fighting cavalry there. It just goes to show how good they are as infantry, as well as they are at being great archers too. As you can see here, the Brutii general has brought in his archers as well, and using the alt attack there to use his archers to actually attack the rear of our infantry there. But I think what's going to the telling factor I think here is going to be Crimson Overlord's cavalry charging into the back of the enemy infantry there. Yes, he just lost his general, but he's got so much cavalry left there. I think that, and plus you can see Cal moving infantry units around the rear as well. I think looking at this battle now, it'll only be a matter of time before we start managing to rout what's left of the enemy infantry there.
The enemy show their true virtue.
And yep, there we go.
Soldiers,
if you look at the battlefield as a whole, you'll see piles of dead all over the battlefield, which goes to show how many little battles and big battles there was going on all over the battlefield. And I was trying to catch as much as I could here, but there's bound to have been stuff that unfortunately I would have missed. If you look at all the dead in this pile here, you can see that there's a massive cavalry hit there.
Great gods be praised.
And this was a really great battle, and I really hope that you enjoyed watching it. There's so much going on. It's a really interesting battle to be in too.
Strength and honor.
I would just like to say really well played to everybody in the game here. I'd like to say really well played to the other team for their great attacking strategy there, really aggressive, and really well done to my teammates too for their great support. Cal's infantry was invaluable there, and plus Uther's and Crimson's attack and strategies were invaluable too. And if it wasn't for them, I think we for those three, Cal, Uther and Crimson, I think don't think we'd have done very good there. Their skill and experience really came to the fore. And as I say, really well done to the other team too. It was a really touch and go battle and could have gone either way. This is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed the battle. It was a great battle to be in, and hope to see you soon. Bye for now.